Welcome to Kimaru Writes, where we talk about all things publishing and storytelling. And on today's episode, I want us to talk about marketing as a self published author, the challenges, what to do, and actually what not to do. And I would actually like to thank Likia's Touch because today I'm wearing their earrings. They are actually a small business that sell handmade stuff from earrings to sisal bags, very classy ones. Yes, so Likia's Touch, a big shout out to you. And yeah, you can check them out online and buy from them. I'll get back to today's episode and I would like to focus on my personal experience and what has actually worked. So, a little bit background. When I started publishing my books, I didn't actually know where to get started. It was sort of like those things that you do and you're like, I'll figure it out along the way. I just had like, when it comes to marketing, I've always told my friends from a long time ago, I am not the best marketer out here. I can do so many things, but marketing is where I used to fail at. I used to mark that because now I am learning and unlearning and improving along the way. So, a little bit background of my books, Zin and the Magic Sunset, a series which has two books released already. I first published those two books on Amazon. And when I did this, I didn't know even where to get started or even how people market on Amazon. And as I was uploading my manuscripts on Amazon, I thought that, oh my God, I'm gonna get sales. You publish the books and then you start telling people, oh, my books are on Amazon. I actually made a TikTok account. I started telling people my books are on Amazon. And then, from a Kenyan perspective, I tried to actually ship my book to Kenya. And wow, my book ikakuwa expensive. So I think including the shipping fee, everything ilikuwa inakuja around that 700. And I was like, oh my God, if I tell my friends to buy this book, will they even be able to ship this book here? And it's a very tiny book. It's about 30 pages. I was like, nah, this does not actually, it's not viable. It won't make a lot of economic sense to most people and it will limit my market. And that is how I ventured into now self publishing here in Kenya and started looking for people to help me with the information. And I'm going to upload another episode, maybe probably before this previous episode talks about the journey of self publishing. So, yes. Amazon is a really good place, I would say, to get started. For example, an author, you have a manuscript. They have like sort of, what do you call it? They have their own specifications of book dimensions that are very, very particular. So when you're doing your manuscript, you can use their dimensions or their trim sizes so that when you come to upload, it is easier for you. And that's how I actually did it for myself. It was quite a good shortcut because I edited my book using their dimensions or their trim sizes. And when I uploaded it, I expected magic to happen, but it didn't. But the first person who bought my book, they left me a review, and it was beautiful what they had to say, and I loved it. And from there, I started putting my work on. So with Amazon, what works is you have to do like very good keyword research and put when you're uploading, you put it somewhere so that people can associate your book with certain keywords. And then also you have to look at pricing. What are other people who have similar books, like for example, storybooks for kids, how much are they selling for? Because if you put yours very expensively, then probably people will choose somebody else's book instead of your work. And then also the description. How good is your description? So you have to focus on that as part of your marketing plan. And then there's something called A plus content. So I did A plus content. I'm not sure how I can explain A plus content here without illustrating, but A plus content is you can take like a page of the book, like an illustration of the page, you put it on sort of, let's call it a poster or something, and with more description and stuff like that. So I did A plus content for my book also. For people who want to publish on Amazon, please look up what A plus content is, and then you can add these to your book, and it helps with marketing. There are people who actually put budgets on Amazon, like they literally do ads. You can do ads on Amazon. I haven't necessarily done ads myself because I told myself for now I would like to sell the book like organically, let it just make its own sales. And the beauty of Amazon is that you're not going to print the book for people. Amazon will print the book on your behalf. So for you, it's just upload the manuscript with the descriptions, the categories, and make sure you do the categories right. The trim sizes are okay. And after that, if people buy your book, the Amazon will print on your behalf and it will ship the book to them. So I found this to be a good, I'll call it a good way to get my book to in the international market, because if I'm not able to ship to somebody who is in the US, I can just tell them, okay, please go to Amazon and print it from there. The downside of using Amazon is that you make very little money anyway, not unless you now. I think what might work is if you have volume. Yes, that's what I would say about Amazon. And then the other thing that I did try for myself, so I realized that I can't just sell this book to only people I know. First, what worked very well was before I printed the book, I texted people in my network who I knew had babies. I was like, hey, I am a self-published author now. I have 2 books in the works, and I'll be printing them in the next 2 weeks. Can I print them with you in mind? And I'll explain what the books are about and the ages of the with the kids books, you have to say sort of like this book caters for the ages of maybe 3 to 5 or 3 to 9 or something of the sort. So I did that. And I sent a lot of people DMs on WhatsApp, and trust you me, people go back to me and they're like, yes, please print with one in mind, print for me, print with two in mind for me, print. It was such an amazing response. So I had a way I was tracking that on our document. I'd be like, Kimaru said they want two of the books, so one of each. Wanjiro said she wants one, and that's what worked. So before I printed my books, I had already contacted most of the people I knew who could potentially buy the book, and that is how I had sort of a waiting list by the time I was going to the printers. So by the time I'm going to the printers, I'm like, okay, give me 20 copies. It's because I already know like 10 are like sold out, or maybe somebody has pre-ordered even if they've not paid, but they have already expressed interest. So that did work for me. So reach out to your network and then market to your network. And then the third one is now social media. I realized how powerful social media platforms are. So I started social media accounts on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and I started putting content. Trust you me, when you become an author, in a way, you just become a social media content creator or something of the sort. There's no shortcut to that, by the way. You just have to do it. So I remember I would go online and then I would actually put I'll put like content over there. So you start learning how to use trending sounds on TikTok or even on Instagram, and then you start pushing the book over there. It took me a while to actually create a YouTube channel for the same, but that's how I started. And as you're doing this content on socials, people are curious. Others reach out to your DM. They're like, they want a book. And that is how I started selling on TikTok. I think the first person I sold the book to was from Nakuru, and they ordered. And thank you, Kafi, for actually ordering the book on TikTok. Yes, so she ordered all the way from Nakuru, and I was so amazed. I just went to town. I put the books on a whatever courier service and ikamfikia Nakuru. And that's how I started selling also through social media platforms. And there are people who have also seen my work on socials, and that is how they either ended up like either buying directly from me or contacting bookstores so that they could get that delivered to them. And that also now takes me back to the point of working with bookstores. So Ivy, my friend, the author of Guardians of Jamhuri, kept insisting the importance of collaborating with bookstores, because she's like, bookstores have like walk-ins where you as a self-published author, you might not be able to access. So she's like, put your books in bookstores. And the first bookstore I went to was Nuria. I partnered with Nuria. Then now my books are also in Dahari. At least for now, I can say for sure they're in those 2 bookstores. So I put my books over there. And now you go there, you put your books, you take a bit of content, and now you come and tell people like, oh, my books are in Nuria. And that also opens you up to a wider market, because people who cannot access you, they can definitely go to their favorite bookstore and buy from them. So for me, like putting my books in a bookstore has been very instrumental. And yeah, and now going back to now working with social media platforms, don't the power of WhatsApp. don't sleep on WhatsApp. Like when I put status on my WhatsApp, people usually make inquiries. Others have bought by me putting WhatsApp status. And anywhere you can put status, whether it's on TikTok, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, just become that content creator and put out that content. I would say for me, for right now, I'm still mastering the art of doing content, because sometimes doing content makes it's an uncomfortable thing sometimes for people who are not used to it. So you have to like sort of put yourself out there. It's like putting yourself in a deep end of a swimming pool and learning how to swim and get out of it. So for me, yeah, that has worked. But I'm telling you, it has its own fair share of challenges, and I'll talk about the challenges later. But right now, I just want to tell you how I have been marketing it. Yes, so content creation is a big deal, and people relate to your story when you talk about, like, this is how I've gone about it. If you show them like a little bit behind the scenes of where, even when you're writing your books or curating, or maybe taking your books to you go to the bus station, you're going to send somebody a book to Nakuru or to Isiolo or to wherever, those behind the scenes, people find it relatable. And sometimes also when you talk about the challenges you've been facing when you're doing sort of your book writing journey or your author journey, people find it very relatable, and also you might inspire somebody else to get started on that journey. So my point is, put yourself out there, market your books, and don't wait for, I don't know, with social media there's a lot of opportunities, and we don't necessarily have to wait for CG who to create that opportunity for you. It's already there. It's up to you to just take up the mantle and put yourself right in the at the center of it and do the work. And then the other one that has also worked for me is reaching out to groups, for example, organizations that either work with kids and stuff like that. And I would say right now I'm lucky to have met some people who introduced me to, say for example, Kangemi Resource Center, where my books are. And this is a resource center where a lot of kids come, and working with people like that who align with your work. So contact organizations that work either with children or with whatever your target group is of books, especially people who work with young people. And yeah, that's how you might end up finding a customer. And then you can also ask people to refer you. Like, somebody has bought your book, let them know if they know somebody in their network who might be interested in the book or who has children. Let them know that they can also purchase, or they can just do indirect marketing for you. And that has also worked for me, and I'm super super grateful to all the shout out to everyone who has bought my books, Zin and the Magic Sunset and Zin and the Magic Sunset, Where Does the Setting Sun Go? Because you've made me start thinking outside the box, and you've made me realize that this dream is very possible. And I'm actually currently working on books that will be released soon. And as I've been doing these, there's parents who've reached out to me and they're like, do you have Kiswahili books? Do you have Kiswahili books? Don't worry, I got you. Yes, those ones are also coming up. And I'm grateful to all of you for challenging me to get out of our comfort zone and actually do this. And wherever you are, if you're an author looking to publish, I would say, don't wait for a perfect moment. Just publish whatever you have, and you will learn along the way. I would tend to believe, even for somebody like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who is a very big brand, I would say maybe his first book might not have been the best book, but over the years he kept on improving and his books were bestsellers anyway. So yeah, we all have to begin from somewhere, and sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith and actually try. And for me, taking that leap of faith has actually paid off. So I'm not gonna lie, it really works. Yes. And also at some point, with regards to social media, I did open a LinkedIn account. It's not super active, but I'm really trying. It's a good place to also share your journey as an author, for example, because I kind of feel like LinkedIn is a very serious platform, and you can put your work there and let people just get a feel of who you are as an author, the author journey. And you never know, somebody might reach out to you and tell you maybe they want to collab or do something. So just put yourself out there. And what I have realized with content creation, for things like reels and shorts and all that, you don't have to create one reel and then go create a short for YouTube that is different. You can literally use the same content across these platforms. You just need to know how to write maybe very catchy descriptions or titles and something like that, depending on the platform, and also the type of music. If you have to put music, background music, the type of music you choose, you can choose depending on what is trending on a particular platform or what is selling at that point. So, if you're looking to actually market your book, those are the platforms I think that will work. Use Amazon, and it's not just Amazon. There's another one called Gumroad, Barnes, and something I've forgotten. Yes, there's so many platforms out there that you can put your books, and then now use social media. You go through the point of referral. Oh, and another one that I almost forgot: go to pop-up shops. Pop-up markets. I mean, sorry, if you go to pop-up markets, like for example there's a children event or a book event or whatever, go to those ones also, because you never know, you might meet people who are interested in your book and you can sell. And I know this, actually someone like Ivan Biro has actually applied this and it works so magically depending on the type of event you want to go to. Yeah, but make sure it's very niche and you target the right type of event. Don't just go to every event, but where children are or where parents are, and you have a children's book, I can guarantee you might actually make a sale. And also, if you're going to such events and maybe the table is expensive, you can always look for other authors or people who want to vend at those particular events, and then you guys can split up the cost for the table so that it becomes cost effective for you. But what I'm trying to say is I'm challenging you to actually try. And then I would say the other thing I wanted to talk about, apart from the marketing, is now the challenges I've faced when marketing. Like, for example, when you think about social media platforms, as I said, if you are just an author, you are like, oh, I know how to write, I can write and you have your work out there. But as I said, it forces you to become a content creator. You can't escape that. So content creation is not easy, trust you me. It's not easy. From a personal perspective, I would say there's days I've woken up feeling like I have no idea what type of content to actually work on. And if you put yourself out there in the right way and you are willing to learn, then it might catch up with you at some point. But consistency has been the one thing that has been biting me. And mostly it's also because I do other types of I do have a day job and other things I'm doing on the side, so it's not easy. But you can try and do batch content. But also, even in the context of just being creative around content creation, it's your rahisi, but you can really try and make it a little bit more consistent for you. So yeah, try. But yes, it is one of those things that will get you out of a comfort zone, and that requires a lot of consistency anyway. There's people who tell me like, oh, why don't you just do batch content on a weekend? And trust you me, even on a weekend, I want to do batch content, but maybe I'm so tired. Like today's a Sunday, I'm trying to shoot this video. I was supposed to be shooting another video, and I'm feeling extremely exhausted. I've not rested. But yes, if you can try that, it might help. Um, then the other one can be the, what is it called, the fear of self promotion. Yeah, you don't want to be in front of a camera. You're like, oh my god, what will people think? Yeah, I think at some point you really have to get over that, because if you want your work to be out here publicly, you really need to put yourself out there in one way or the other. Whether you start it as a faceless account and eventually get the courage to stand in front of a camera and talk about it, it's okay. But at the end of the day, put yourself out there. Don't just, usikae huko nini nyuma. And then the other challenge can be sometimes you partner with bookshops and your books stay in a bookshop for like months on end before they are sold out. And sometimes maybe the MOQ you put over there is like 5 books only, and you're wondering, there's no 5 people who had gone to that bookshop to actually get my 5 books. Yeah, it's one of those things. But yes, um, try and make sure that people actually buy your books by continuing with marketing. Usi stop. Maybe 2 months might not be good months, but on the third month you never know. But yes, there's that. And The other one is limited budget. Like for example, I'd say on Amazon, as I said, there's the idea you can do ads. But if you do not have money, then what do? You are self-published, rather you're trying to make some back out here and there, and now you can't do ads. Like for me, I'm currently not doing any ads. And if people buy my books, I'm like super grateful and thankful. But if you have money, go ahead. Even I think on Meta, just do ads on Meta if you can, places where you know they might actually convert. Okay. Yes. And sometimes also when you get, like, when you publish your books, sometimes you might have like very high expectations, and you're thinking, hey, my books will sell. And then you have low sales at the beginning, and then you start feeling demoralized, and you're like, oh my god, these books are not going anywhere. Please, let me tell you what I have learned also. Nothing really comes easy, but the point is, like, keep trying, okay? Keep trying. Usi why you give up. Like, keep trying, put yourself out there and push for that thing that you actually believe in. So those are some of the challenges myself I have faced. And sometimes people also promise you, hey, I'll get your book. Sometimes it doesn't, like, I know there's some people who had told me they'll buy my books. They haven't bought the books, and that might actually make you feel a certain way, and you're like, oh my god, she's not buying, or they're not buying. But don't feel bad, because I feel like sometimes also as customers go through a journey. Like maybe today they feel like, I really want that book, but maybe they don't have that cash. But you never know, at some point they'll get back to you and they will buy. But the key point here is keep marketing, keep pushing. If there are people who had promised they'll buy, maybe send them a couple of reminders, and you never know, eventually it might actually work out. So my quick tips for you would be, start marketing early, even before you publish your book, like just before you print it. You already know that you're going to be printing. Start talking about it. Start telling people that there's this book that is coming up. If you're interested, you can order. As I told you, that worked for me beautifully. I had more than 10, was it like between 10 and 20 orders by the time I was printing my book. And then you can also build an email list. That is for people who have like a website or something. You can build an email list or a waiting list. This could even be a WhatsApp list. Depending on your type of access. And then when it comes to content, repurpose content. As I said, you can use the same content across different social media platforms. And then if some type of content did well maybe 5 months ago, you could reuse it now 5 months later, and see, and maybe change a little, tweak it a little bit, and see what happens. And then work with others, collaborate with other people. Yeah, collaborate with other people. Like for example, if like for example, like Book Talk, there's people you could send books to or whatever. They can give you reviews and something of the sort. So collaborate with such people. Or even if somebody is willing to give a review after they've bought your book, that would be awesome. And then they can tell people what they think about your book. And then you can also keep track of what works, so that you can tweak. If something, you tried something and it didn't work, you can now tweak that later. If you're looking to self-publish, what I can tell you is that it's not an easy journey, but it's very rewarding, and you will get your work out there. And yeah, people will get to know you. Sometimes it may take time, but I'm pretty sure eventually it pays off. Because, for example, like right now, I have a couple of people who have asked me, are you printing any other books anytime soon? Please, if you do, let me know. My daughter, my son loved the first ones. So for me, that kind of fuels my passion and my whatever, to keep going. It does give me that oomph to keep moving and to keep thinking outside the box on how I can print more stuff for you people. Yeah. So your book deserves people reading it, and you need readers. So, but you really need to put yourself out there. So go for it. And until the next time, I've been Miss Kimaru. Bye.